Is it a good time to sell my house? Today we're going to talk about a topic that's on so many homeowners' minds these days, selling your home. Whether you're considering selling your house for non-financial or financial reasons, it's essential to understand the factors that may influence your decision. And because we're getting so many questions from our clients, our friends and family, our network online of should I sell my house now or should I wait? So we're going to jump into some main financial and some non-financial reasons that people are considering, our clients are considering right now selling their property. Before we dive in, I want to talk about some macroeconomic factors that could be a driving force of why you might be considering selling your home. So household debt rises to $16.9 trillion and credit cards pass pre-pandemic highs. So I'm going to read this right from their website. According to the New York Fed, the total household debt rose by $394 billion or 2.5% to $16.9 trillion in the fourth quarter of 2022. According to the latest quarterly report on household debt and credit, credit card balance increased by $61 billion to reach $986 billion, surpassing the pre-pandemic high of $927 billion. Mortgage loan balances rose $11.92 trillion, auto loan balances $1.55 trillion, and student loan balances to $1.60 trillion. Also, the share of current debt transitioning into delinquency increased for nearly all debt types. Now, of course, when we're talking about trillions of dollars, those are so astronomical and mind-numbing. But what we're seeing on a ground level is more and more people are having a hard time, this could be you, dealing with the high cost of gas, the high cost of just going to the grocery store, basically paying your bills is getting tougher and tougher, which is reflected by that report of credit cards increasing. So what we're seeing with our consumer, our clients that have maybe had a little bit of a stumble here and there with their financial budget month over month, really considering selling your home can alleviate that stress, wipe that totally out. One of the other things that most everybody is hearing about, obviously, is the Fed increasing the interest rates. One of the things to note that the rapid increase in home values during the pandemic, interest rates were virtually at zero while the government was basically pumping trillions of dollars into the economy, which is what is causing our inflation at 41-year highs at this moment in time. So one of the things is to think that real estate is gonna just continue to increase in value is a little bit, in my personal opinion, far-fetched when interest rates, let's say at the end of 2021, were in the twos. And during 2022 and in 2023 here, we're seeing rates in the 5s, 6s, and 7s. So naturally, home buyers are going to have a lot harder time affording a $500,000 property or $1 million property or more with rates in the 6s than they could in the 2s. It's basic supply and demand. At this point in time, the supply is still in a shortage. However, there's still quite a few well-qualified buyers out there that we're seeing a bit of a plateau and some slight declines in home values at this point in time. And home sellers' properties are sticking on the market a little bit longer than typical, sometimes as long as 30 to 60 to 90 days just to find a buyer to buy their property. So why is all this information important? So let me give you some quick examples. A client of mine bought his home in Eagle, Colorado, and his house was the only one on the market in Eagle Ranch, and right now there's 23 properties on the market. His $2 million home had numerous showings, but it's been on the market for 3.5 months. He's had a couple offers, but the buyers backed out because of the interest rate hikes that they experienced through the Fed, and they were worried about securing a mortgage on a home that was higher than their anticipated payment. Another client in Littleton, Colorado sold his home, but it took 90 days at the $635,000 price point he had. A very similar situation where there was a couple times the buyers were under contract and walked due to fears that their mortgage payment was too high. And get this, another friend of ours sold his home 6 months ago in Fort Collins. He is an appraiser. And get this, when I saw him last for dinner, he did a brief valuation report on his old home, and it had dropped $85,000 since he sold it. So now that you have a little bit of context, let's talk about some of those non-financial reasons to be selling your property. Many homeowners might consider selling due to lifestyle changes, such as a desire to move to a different neighborhood, city, country, or they have to downsize or upsize based on their changing needs. Other non-financial reasons is why I sold my properties in Denver, 3 to be exact, was I was wanting to just have a whole entire lifestyle change. I was sick of living in the city. I wanted to move to the beautiful mountains in Colorado. That's what I did. So lifestyle change is a huge thing that we're seeing with our network of friends and family, clients that are selling their homes right now. They're just kind of sick and tired of the status quo. You might even have lifestyle reasons, relationship changes, or even a job relocation. For example, if you're an empty nester, you might need to want to consider downsizing because you don't need 4 or 5 bedrooms or 4 or 5 bathrooms to clean. Of course, that's just going to have less maintenance for you as an empty nester. Selling your larger family home and moving to a smaller property could be a massive non-financial reason to do so. If you've experienced a change in a relationship, such as a divorce or separation, selling the marital home could also be a practical step to divide assets. Now let's shift focus a little bit to the financial reasons. As mentioned with all that data in the start of the video, the financial portion of uncertainty is weighing a lot on clients, as well as their purses feeling a little bit tighter, a lot harder to meet ends meet with their budgets with the high inflation and the recessionary fears. Some clients are losing their jobs as well. So a lot of people are selling their homes for specific reasons in financial. So one of the things is we know that the all-time highs in the market were during the pandemic, meaning that you could have sold your house for a song. You could have sold it for probably much more than it was listed for without a care in the world. Selling your home could be driven by financial considerations such as equity appreciation, the need for cash or liquidity, tax considerations, investment diversification, changing financial goals, or avoiding costs of home ownership. For example, if you have a primary residence and your home is increased by $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, shoot, even $500,000 or more, you could sell your property, be sitting on a lump sum of cash, and if you're married, you may even be able to not have to pay taxes on your primary home's equity increases or your profits up to and including $500,000. Of course, you're going to want to chat with your CPA in regard to that. If we do help you sell your home and get you that much profit, you're definitely going to want to talk to a CPA on how to make sure that you can alleviate paying any unnecessary taxes. Now, one of the things that we get is, if I sell my home, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? Where am I going to live? One of the biggest things that is overlooked is when we are helping a client sell their property, 2 things. We can get short-term housing, whether it's an Airbnb for a month, 2 months, 3 months, short-term housing like a traveling nurse would get. Maybe you do a 6-month lease, a month lease at a rental. Picture this. If you were to sell your home and you were to net $400,000 because you have been sitting on equity and you could pay off all of your consumer debt with a leftover nest egg of, let's say, $350,000. Why on earth would you be so nervous and so afraid to pay rent while the market kind of figures out all of this unnerving information with inflation, recession, all-time high household debt, as mentioned in the start of the video? That cushion of cash is going to be able to help you deploy that in an asset class, maybe real estate, maybe stocks, maybe buying a business when the time comes to do so. What most of our clients that are selling now and deciding to rent for the short period of time are telling us a few months after they have sold their homes is their stress levels have come down so much and they're seeing much more opportunity open up for them in the form of investing in other areas than just having to worry about their house to have a roof over their head, because they can rent and they are sitting on all that money that they had when they sold their home. We make it so simple for our clients to take the very first step to either figuring out, should I sell my house now or should I wait? One thing that you can do is obviously in the link in the description is a Zoom link where we can book a quick consultation, kind of figure out what are you concerned about? What are you trying to do? In that call, typically what we do is give a free valuation report for you as a potential home seller and help you come up with an action plan. So because I do real estate and mortgage, we can really analyze both ends, the financial end as well as the home ownership end, because once the time comes to get back into a property, if you're considering selling your primary residence, we can help you with the mortgage and also the buying of the property. So we do it all in-house here, which benefits you as the consumer because you have to do, less meetings, less paperwork. But really what it comes down to first is figuring out the value of the home, why this might be the right time for you to sell. If you're sitting on that equity that we just talked about, those big numbers, the light at the end of the tunnel should be bright enough to where a little bit of a headache here and there of short-term housing, getting out of the house, keeping it clean, being a little bit annoyed when you have to, let's say, get out of the house on a Saturday or Sunday to show your property. Definitely guarantee you that getting a check for $200,000 or $300,000 or $400,000 45 days later is gonna make it all worth it. All right, the time is now. Snoop around the channel, and if you enjoyed this content, do me a favor, give me that thumbs up so that we can get this out to more people just like you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider to do so. We drop videos each and every single week, and we would love to see you on a regular basis. Bob Friel, thank you for joining me. Stay sweet, enjoy those sunny days, and until next time, we'll see you later.